Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Monday, April 7th. If you are just tuning in, we just went over everything you needed to know for the upcoming game between Houston and Florida tonight, as well as everything going on in college basketball over the weekend. In this segment, we turn our attention to the ice. I know, a little early in the show for hockey, but this is a special occasion. We have a new king of goal scoring. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you're on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Monday, April 7th. But like I was saying, we are going to get a little bit here into Alex Ovechkin, the new goal-scoring king. As Eric says, that's the key, right? He eats chicken parm before every game. You have to get that protein. Alex Ovechkin is an anomaly in every single possible way. There is nothing you can do to describe this man if you close your eyes and think, yes, that is a guy that is the greatest hockey goal scorer in the history of hockey, right? He is a guy with a dad bod. He's 39 years old, from Russia. He doesn't have the greatest diet. He not only eats chicken parm before every game, Eric, but he also, very famously, goes to McDonald's before just about every game, drinks a beer after every game. He is not the picture of an athlete, but it doesn't matter because he is the greatest at one thing, a record that many thought would never fall in the hockey community. Alex Ovechkin with goal 895 against the Islanders, a place that he has had a lot of success in his career, scores his first goal ever against Ilya Sorokin. I know that was a big deal heading into it. Wayne Gretzky, the great one, the best hockey player of all time in the building, to pass on the puck pass on the helmet of the new record, the new era of hockey. He handled it gracefully. Of course, that's something we like to see. One of the things and one of the main conversations that we've gotten out of this record, not just saying that Alex Ovechkin is amazing, of course, there's more conversation with it. Since hockey is not a sport that is the most popular to the general public, how do we compare this? How do you put this in layman's terms? How do you put this in basketball terms? Because you look at these numbers and you say 895, that's the best ever? Psh, that's not even 1,000, right? But it's a lot different. Basketball is the one that they're pointing to because these two sports are kind of married, right? They play at the same time. They have playoffs at the same time. They both do 82 games. These two sports are connected at the hip in American culture, really. They're kind of a big brother, little brother kind of thing, at least in my mind. Because they play at the same time on the calendar, so many of their teams share the same arena. Lots of stuff like that. But this has been compared to LeBron James, going for 50,000 points, breaking the record for most points scored, and I think that's an apt thing to compare it to. Of course, goals are how you win games, put points up on the board, but to put a little more perspective on it, you're only scoring max 3-4 goals a game. There have been people that have put up more than that. The most goals ever in the modern era in one game is 6. Someone put up 7 one time, but that was back in the 1920s when, again, doesn't really count as real hockey. Still, regardless of that, this is one of the most impressive things ever. Wayne Gretzky, still the greatest player of all time, but Alex Ovechkin breaks a record that many thought was unbreakable. Alex Ovechkin breaks a record like all these other scoring records that go around that people thought would stand the test of time, and it did. For 31 years, Wayne Gretzky stood at the top, and he still stands at the top for a lot of other things. You know, most points. He has nearly 2,000 assists in his career. No one's coming anywhere close to that. This is just a monumental occasion, right? And I'm glad it's getting as much coverage as it is. It's not quite going to get to the same level as the NBA because it's still number 4 in sports, right? There's no doubt about that. But This is a sport in hockey that desperately needed this coverage, desperately needed this chase, and the fact that he's doing it on a winning team is super cool to see, right? Alex Ovechkin has done it for 20 years. He's got the same longevity as LeBron James. He's got the same longevity as these guys that play forever, and he did it with one team, which is again really cool to see. Eric asks, with all the action, it's like baseball. It's like basketball, fast pace. Like with the NFL contact, why is hockey so underappreciated in the U.S.? It's because it's this sport that is inaccessible, right? Anybody can go pick up a baseball. Anybody can go pick up a basketball. Anybody can go pick up a soccer ball. Anybody can go pick up a football and play with their friends. But hockey, first of all, you need ice. You can't just go play hockey anywhere, right? You need the ice. You need to buy the equipment. You need to buy the sticks, the gear, the pucks, all this stuff. It's very expensive. You have to have the right climate for it. You have to be, that's why all these northern countries have it. The northern U.S., big on hockey. You talk about Boston, you talk about Pennsylvania, you talk about Minnesota, you talk about Wisconsin, states like that, Michigan, all the way up in the north. They're big on hockey over there in the northeast and up north. But once you get down to the south, Florida, you're not playing hockey in Florida. You're not playing hockey in Virginia, right? That's even too far south for hockey. It's a little too warm there. So it's just a combination of inaccessibility and price more than anything. A lot of eyes have come on it with the Four Nations Cup and stuff like that. And of course, this chase going on at the same time. It's very good for the sport. It's still not going to catch up anytime soon. But in the Big Four, it's really cool to see all the attention going on hockey. And again, this is a once in a lifetime thing. You're not going to see this record broken for a very long time. The next closest guy is 200 goals away in Sidney Crosby, and he's going to hang it up soon. The only other guy, again, we talk about this with the NBA, who could break that LeBron James record. It's very similar. Luka is the guy in the NBA that you look at who could break that points record. Probably not going to do it. Austin Matthews is the guy that might do it in the NHL. Over his career, his 20-year career, Alex Ovechkin has averaged 49 goals per game to get this far. He's done it in 1,497 games, the same amount of time it took Wayne Gretzky to get to his 894 goals. So it's not any more time. But what Austin Matthews has been able to do, again, very physical game, he's averaging 52 goals per game. He is the next guy up that could potentially do it, but he's going to have to do it for basically another 10 to 12 years and keep that up. It's incredibly hard to do. Again, like Eric says, it is a very, very physical sport. You get that physicality of full contact tackling in hockey. You get fights on the ice, right? It's going to be a record that's going to stand for a long time, and Ovi's still playing, right? He didn't end his career here. He's going to get to 900. He's got a couple games left in this season, about 5 or so to go. Then he's got a whole nother year left on his contract. Is he going to play that year? I don't see why not, especially with the way that this Capitals team is playing. I think he plays one more year, then he's done. Maybe he adds another one, but I think he broke the record he wanted to. He'll finish out his contract with the Caps, do a victory lap kind of thing, and he'll call it a career. So but when all is said and done, you could see Alex Ovechkin sitting somewhere around 950 goals. I'd like to see it again to 1,000. He'd have to play probably 2.5 more seasons for that, maybe 3 seasons, depending on how his body goes. He probably won't be able to do that. But still, I've seen crazier things happen, right? LeBron James is still playing at 42. Alex Ovechkin will be playing at age 40. Maybe he can buck the trend and keep going. But let's bask in the moment here. Take a step back and just say we witnessed history right from his office, right above the left face-off circle on a power play. It was about as perfect as you could possibly get. It was an excellent moment. They stopped it, had a beautiful ceremony. Wayne Gretzky came out, handed a puck over. We had the commissioner, Barry Bettman, come out, the owner of the Capitals, the whole team. The Islanders did a very good job of just taking in the moment, accepting at its history. Of course, sucks that it wasn't at home, but again, a very nice moment there. Before we end it, Eric says it's very physical. Before they switch out, they average about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Yes, in hockey, that is a long shift. You're looking more around a minute per shift. You're looking guys who at most play 20 minutes per game. That or 25, 30 minutes per game is a lot. That's about half the game. You're looking at about 1 minute shifts, maybe a minute and a half. 2 minutes is a very long shift. Sometimes that happens, but it's a very physical game. You've basically got to learn a whole new style of movement. It's very impressive. I highly recommend everybody go watch hockey, but go take in this history. This is not something we're ever going to see again. Any record in any sport, even if you're not a big follower of it, people can understand the gravitas of the moment that is Alex Ovechkin breaking the Great One's record. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think of this? What do you think about the sport of hockey? How is this going to help it grow? Is it going to help it grow? And is this something that's making you guys more interested in watching this sport? I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we turn our attention over to baseball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signed a massive 14-year, $500 million contract. We're going to talk about what that means for him, for the Blue Jays, and everyone else in baseball coming up next here on GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast.